Hey guys, Rexasaur here and welcome to Total War Online Battles. This one is on Attila. It's sent to me by King of Pergamon. He is playing a 2v2 as the Ostrogoths and his ally as the Huns versus two Roman factions. So King of Pergamon's army is as follows. He has 1 Germanic nobles, 4 Thracian warriors, 2 Thracian oathsworn, 2 Gothic folksmen, 5 Germanic slingers, 4 noble Germanic horsemen, and 2 Gothic lancers. His ally, who's playing as the Huns, has 1 steppe chieftain, 4 Scarari warriors, 5 Uar warriors, 2 Nokhors, 2 first wave lancers, and 1 Hunnic ambusher. So we can see that this army it's got a very, very big cavalry contingent, as is normal for a Hunnic player, but it's also got quite a bit of infantry with a lot of sword infantry present, or fox infantry as well, which is great for getting through armor, which is exactly what Roman players usually like to bring. However, there is a big lack of ranged infantry. I mean, there's only some slingers, but 5 slingers against what's going up against them is not really a huge amount when you think about it. So the enemy is, well, you have the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western. This is the West, so we'll go with the East first. No, it's not. That is the East. I can't tell my difference from East to West. Screw everything. So East player is Mr. SRJ, who's playing as the Eastern Roman Empire. He has a unit of Platina Guards, 4 Lanciari Signores, 2 Menalution, 2 Protectores Domesticatus, 2 Nomoroi, 4 Elite Ballistari, and 3 Equites Promori. Promoti? I don't even know. Once again, I really suck at Latin names, which is not cool considering this is kind of what I want to do next year. Anyway, his ally has gone into a Manipula formation, which is pretty awesome when you think about it, because Manipula formation is awesome. This is Assad the physicist. He's playing as a Western Roman Empire. He has his general is Platina Guard. He has 7 Protectores Domesticatus, 4 Herculonori Signores, 4 Ballistari, 2 Scole Palatina, and 2 Equites Promoti. So, yes, this is going to be a fun battle. We can see it looks, from this side it looks very even, but when you look at it from this side, it does seem as if the Roman player has a slight advantage in terms of height. But let's get right into it, because it is a sort of 11-minute battle, so it's going to be quite long. We're going to see how it plays out. First off, a Hunnic player is going to move straight out with his cavalry, which is not hard. There's a distinct lack of, I don't know what the rules were for this, so there's a distinct lack of ranged cavalry in the Hunnic line. And actually, the Hunnic player literally only has 1 unit of ranged cavalry, which is, or range at all, which is very weird. But he does have very strong Lancer cavalry, as well as these Nokhors, which are pretty decent in combat, and have an excellent capture power, which is really useless right now, as well as backed up by King of Pergamon's own noble Germanic horsemen, who are very, very strong, and the Gothic lancers as well. So what's going to happen is that the steppe, we're going to call them the steppe side, and then we're going to have the Romans. The steppe side is moving forward to advance on the Romans rather than the other way around. Considering that the Romans have the high ground, I guess the Romans don't really need to move up. The Western Roman Empire is going to move up to cause a nice little echelon, make a nice little diamond formation. If these people move through the middle, if the steppe side go through the middle, then they're going to get split off very quickly. However, it does seem that the Eastern Roman Empire isn't really moving to respond to this huge cavalry movement on the flank. He's sort of just stayed forward, really focusing on the infantry ahead. So he's split off 2 Lanciari Signores as well as his cavalry, but his cavalry is going to get absolutely destroyed straight away. Oh, they did for a little bit, yeah, now they're getting destroyed. So I'm assuming that these noble Germanic horsemen are some kind of really, like, some lances to throw at the enemy. Actually, it is kind of obvious. Actually, all of these have, oh, okay, so basically there's a nice little blue bar under these people, which shows if they've got, like, range, and these obviously do have range, so I was wrong when I said that they didn't have any ranged cavalry. It seems like a lot of the Ostrogothic units also have range when it comes to missiles or stuff. It's kind of the same as well when it comes to Romans. Actually, these Proctataris Domestici don't really do Ballistari going to open up on these lancers, on these slingers. What the hell? Yeah, they're totally lancers. They're going to take damage very quickly because they have barely any armor, but they are going to throw their slings at these elite Ballistari, who are also going to take, well, they're going to take slight man damage, but they are going to get shot to pieces by Germanic hurlers. Hunnic Ambushers gone and attacked these elite Ballistari in the back. They are actually getting shot by their own ally, which is probably not good, and we can see that the horse charge on the right has completely taken out this, well, those 2 units of Equites Promontory. So they're going around the back. They're probably going to go for the general. I think that's what King of Pergamon is going to try and go with, these 2 Gothic Lancers. We can see the battle is unfolding in the middle. Been intercepted by these unit of Equite Promontory. That's 5 units held up by this one, but this 1 unit of Lancers is going to get through. Let's see how much damage he does. No damage at all because he decides to not charge for some reason. Very strange. Probably going to try and go for the general, which is in the middle of the unit. I'm still not 100% sure if that was a good, because they lost a lot of momentum. And we can see that the enemy have charged into the Germanic hordes, also Gothic hordes. So we got some line battles going on here. Line battles? Yes, that's what I meant. 2v1, 2v2. We got to, yeah, it's not very well evened out because a lot of the steppe hordes has got into cavalry. They're not actually focusing into charging yet or anything. There we go. Now we've got a charge going on. King of Pergamon's men kind of standing around doing nothing. These men doing nothing. These men doing nothing. But then again, same again on the Roman side. They got some units very much in reserve. However, these guys really do need help. There's only 2 of someone left here. There's only, well, it's going down very quickly here against 2 units, which obviously they cannot really do any combat against. Whilst here on this side, Romans very much an advantage. Actually, they are losing against these Uar warriors. I'm not entirely sure how good they are. Well, they got very decent melee damage and melee attack. Actually, they just don't have a huge amount of health compared to these troops. But they are routing. They're going to decide to attack the side. Scarari warriors going in to go against the cavalry. These units of cavalry are attacking the general, I think, right to the end. Patina guards down to 70 men. They're holding for now, but they're probably going to waver and rout very, very quickly. Attacking the general is a very easy way. Enemy general is dead. There we go. Which means that the Eastern Roman Empire, I think that was the Eastern Roman Empire general. Yeah, he's going to suffer a lot of. Oh God, silly advancer. They're going to suffer a massive. Well, there we go. Huge amount of wavering on the Eastern Roman Empire side, but they got nice. These are quite elite units that have a lot of morale, so it probably won't affect them too much. Whilst we've got a big rout going on the Hunnic side here, he's going to send in his Steppe Chieftain, not really moving, not really doing anything. He's going to fire his bows a little bit. It seems to me there's a lot of micromanaging issues going on in this battle, just overall, where people are aren't using all their units to the maximum of their ability. That's not really always their fault. I mean, there's a huge amount of units on the fields. You've got to focus on certain things. King of Pergamon definitely focusing on his cavalry before his infantry. His infantry's been charged. He might have sent his infantry, there he is, sending a few of his infantry into it, but they're not doing too well. These Germanic herders taking down damage, Gothic taking down damage as well. Protector is lots of defense, so they can really take that damage. Although they are wavering out, mostly because the general's dead though, more than actual loots of combat. Here, however, it looks like everything's going down, with the cavalry now coming around the flank and attacking them in the rear. You can see a lot of rear damage going on. The horsemen just around doing, nothing. Once again, quite a bit of micromanaging issues. Not entirely sure why this person is not, General Cody isn't moving around, but that's not really, I don't know. Use your men, guard, damn it. Attack in the rear, you've got a horseman for a reason. They're just standing around doing nothing. So we have a big brawl going on here and a big brawl going on here. We can see King of Pergamon's units are starting to waver around this side, and actually the Germanic hunters are gone. Germanic Falconsmen about to waver. On both sides, actually, we got some Germanic horsemen coming in the rear, trying to do a rear attack. Not entirely sure how much that will be successful. Big contingent of enemy here on the side going around, and now he's starting to move all his men into it. Now this should be an easy take. You'll probably kill the enemy general and the Platina guards here. I think they'll be fine. These Ballistari not doing much either. Actually, it's because they're in combat. For some reason they're combat in 2 places. We can see a whole lot of units routing. We've got some units coming back from routing or just in reserve that hadn't been put into the combat yet. Here we have a little 3v1. These Thracian warriors taking damage from these Ballistari and also in combat. So these Procteros Dominicus, who will be taking damage from the Ballistari as well. We've got some more Ballistari here who are probably going to turn around and fire either at these Thracian Earthspawn or at the Germanic Hurlers. Germanic Hurlers run out of ammo, so they're probably going to just charge into that, and then we can see shot after shot going into the Thracian Earthspawn. Really good looking unit. They got foxes as well, but they are, you know, being attacked by this Minotaur, who is a quite good pike unit at this stage, although pikes aren't really the best. You can see a huge blob has formed around the middle. It's putting down my frames. That's how many stuff is going on right now. But overall, we can see the vast amount of the Roman player is losing morale very quickly. With the amount of casualties they're sustaining and just the amount of units in that area, they're going to take a lot of damage, and that's going to lead them to most likely rout very soon. Although 3 generals in one place now, and King Pergamon bringing out more of his units. We see more reserve units here just doing nothing. It seems like, I don't know if they're there for a reason, like it's, you know, hold these back just in case, but it does feel like going in for overwhelming force would have won this much quicker without any kind of you know, delay, or just, you know, it's taking a long time for them to rout, basically, because they can hold for a long time. They've got a lot of morale. So on this flank we can see the Roman player's actually got the advantage. He's pretty much the only player here. These Gothic Falksmen running away. Well, they're wavering now, but their morale's going to go down quickly. Although that said, these Lanciari just got killed by these Thracian Earthswarms. Going to read these Manloi to attack these. Probably won't do too well. In the middle, the enemy general has, well, the Roman general has routed and all gone. King of Pergamon's going to charge all his cavalry now into these Equites. These Square warriors going against these Lanciari Signores. They've got the advantage. It's all going too good. And there we go. The Roman player is starting to waver all over, except for this side. I think that's the Eastern Roman Empire, though, rather than the Western. Not entirely sure what's going on. Why the Western Roman Empire is not routing, really? It's not good. But we can see the massive advantage going on from the steppe side, with the Huns and the Ostrogoths just doing much more damage. I think they used their cavalry much better than, well, they had more cavalry. They kind of had the cavalry advantage, managing to go around. I think the Roman player had a very good idea in charging, but they didn't charge everything. They had kept too many units in reserve. They should have gone with the overwhelming force, gone through, and then that meant that the Ostrogoth and the Hunnic infantry could not have survived that much. That said, there are very full units of the Uwa warriors who are pretty good, and they're just sort of standing there doing nothing for most of the battle, and now they can use their full force when the Roman has nothing really to stand up against them. But it's a pretty big victory for the Steppe side. Well, once again, these guys doing nothing. These guys doing nothing. I mean, it can be won without these units, but they're there for a reason. You might as well use them. That's just my opinion. We can see there was quite a bit of micromanaging issues. A lot of dead on the battlefield, though. I think it was much closer than it could have looked. If the Roman player had just charged all their units, they would have done much better. And because it seems like the Hunnic General Cody for the Huns wasn't really using all his units effectively. But then again, it seems like most of these people weren't using all their units effectively. I'm not saying that I can, I'm just saying that if these guys want to do a better Pyrrhic victory, so it was much closer than it could have been. We're going to end the replay and look at the stats. So we got King of Pergamon, who's got himself, I can't actually see how many kills he's got overall. That's a really strange... Wow, okay. Well, whatever. His units have got a load of kills. These Thracian Wars getting over 200 kills. Doing really well, as well as these Thracian Swords. But Thracian Swords, you always expect them to do really well, except for these ones, who did moderate. His Hurler's doing pretty damn good. Overall getting over 100 kills, or about that on average, except for this unit. And then obviously his Germanic Horsemen doing insane amount of damage, over 300 with this unit. Doing pretty good. Cody, on the other hand, also doing quite a large amount of damage, but losing quite a few major units. You see these units, you can sort of tell these ones were the ones in reserve, not really doing anything, because they have, although they have a lot of kills because they got there at the end game, they didn't really, you know, lose that many troops overall. Although this unit getting itself 250 kills. Actually, both of his first wave lancers doing insane amount of damage overall. And not taking all that many casualties. On the Roman side, we can see Formistus S. Jr. Getting kind of very average amount of kills for these units. His Equites doing absolutely terrible, but that's because they were sent off to the side to counter this cavalry charge, which they just could not go up against. The last portion of his army not doing a huge amount, except for these Manaloi, who were doing insane amount of damage compared to these who did nothing. Kind of shows you that it really is situational with these units. Pikes aren't very good in this game, I don't think, unless you can use them very effectively or if the enemy just charges your front. Assad, on the other hand, having a whole lot of infantry, but once again, as you can see, not doing a huge amount because most of them were in reserves. The enemy could focus on one unit at a time, and that meant that they lost a lot of things. These big units that got a huge amount of kills were the ones on the front line, supported by maybe a second unit or something, not doing a huge amount. Pergamon guards not doing too badly. Then these Baristari doing pretty awful. I mean, from 5 to 142, you can tell that there's a big disparity, which means that they weren't really firing effectively at the units that really need to be fired or could be damaged by the shots. How much of these guys' kills were the slingers? How much of them were like very elite units? You don't really know at this stage. But to me, it showed that these guys really didn't aim at the stuff. Whilst the Equites Promontory doing much better than his allies, getting himself 7 and 10. It's got 117 there though. But very overall doing a much better job, as well as the Scholar again, very good. These less so, probably charged by the cavalry once again from the charge. Overall, very good battle, very good play from everyone. They just need to improve themselves, I think, play a lot more, stop keeping too many units in reserves. Although it's good to keep 1 or 2 units, keeping like 5 is like half your army. You kind of want to do a huge push into them, especially if on the Roman side you had a massive infantry advantage. You just want to push it through the infantry so that there's only the cavalry left rather than a contingent of infantry holding the enemy infantry at bay. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you would like your replay to be shown, then there is a link in the description for this. Just follow that link, watch the video, and you will know how to send me your replay. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like if you liked it, and I will see you next time.